It was a splendid spring morning on the island of Sodor, and all the engines were hard at work. All the engines were happy from the warm weather, all except James. And James was, well, being James. I am the most splendid red engine on this island. There is no other like me. The guard blew his whistle, and off James went. James had to climb Gordon's Hill, but he didn't mind. He loved coasting down the other side. At the junction, Percy was still unloading the mail. He was far behind schedule, but was trying his best to get back on time. Soon James arrived at the junction, to find Percy was still there. "Percy, what are you doing so far off schedule? Sir Topham Hatt relies on us. You know that, right?" "Well, of course I do, James. I'm just behind schedule, that's all." "Percy, it seems like you're always behind schedule. Look up to us for once. Us mainline engines. Always on time, never late. That's us." "You mainline engines act like you're so that, but us branchline engines, we're important too." "Oh, Percy, you have much to learn. They don't call us mainline engines for a reason, and call you branchline engines." Percy felt insulted. "The branchline's just as important as the mainline." "Branchline's important?" James couldn't help but laugh. "I still have a train to take to the wharf. I'm going to be far behind schedule too. Please, James, can you take it for me?" "Goods trains are beneath me, Percy. I don't take those. Besides, it's not up to mainline standards." "Mainline standards? Oh yes, you wouldn't understand though." "James?" Oh no. Soon Percy was off with the mail, and James was sent to take Percy's goods train by the fat controller. And when he saw his replacement for the passenger train was Boko, he was furious. When the guard blew his whistle for James to go, he grumbled here, he grumbled there, he grumbled all the way to the wharf. "What's up with you, James?" "Oh, it's that Sir Topham Hatt. Sometimes he's so unfair to me." "Our controller's pretty fair, I'd say." "Yeah, I'd say he's pretty fair." "Oh, James, don't get ahead of yourself. Sir Topham Hatt's just proving you a lesson, that's all." "Stow it, Arthur, I don't want to hear it. You've never gotten in trouble before." "Oh, I have, but that's besides the point. A goods train is just beneath me. I can't believe I took this. It sounds like you didn't enjoy it." "I didn't at all." "Well, James, it looks like you're in a bit of a predicament. Either get well behaved or stick to the goods trains." "Well, I'll stick to the goods trains if Percy's acting like the way he did at the junction. It's just not up to my mainline standards." "Mainline standards? Oh, of course you little engines don't understand." "You're right. We don't." James was fuming. He was uncoupled from the train right then and there and was gone. "Wait, James, you can't just tease someone and expect not to receive some in return." Meanwhile, Percy was still taking the post train. He was trying to catch up the time, but he went up the hill one way and came down another. "Oh, botheration," said Percy. The rescue team were soon on the case, along with Sir Topham Hatt. "Dear, oh dear, Percy, you know better than any other engine that being safe is more important than being on time." "I know, sir. I'm sorry, sir." "Well, you're going to have to be at the steamworks for a little while, as you might have guessed. But this really puts me in a tough situation, Percy. I need someone to cover your duties on the branch line." "What about James?" "Ah, yes, brilliant idea, Percy. I've heard numerous complaints over the island about James teasing engines and running off. Time to teach that engine a lesson." That night, Thomas and Toby were waiting at Farquhar Sheds. "Did you hear what happened to Percy? Truly, what poor timing this is. The mail depot will miss him dearly. So will we. The harbor's never been so busy. Plus, there's so much stone to carry, this will be rushed off her wheels." "Is that who I think it is?" Slowly backing into the sheds was none other than James. "Sir Topham Hatt sent me to take Percy's place. How ridiculous." "Oh, James, thank goodness Sir Topham Hatt sent you. I'm only here till Percy gets back, and when he does, I'll be long gone." "Suit yourself, James, but there's a lot of work to be done." "Please, this branch line should have been mine in the first place. If it wasn't for Thomas's heroic act, this branch line would have been mine years ago." Is that so, James? Then, can you remind me, what's the name of this branch line again? James almost answered it, but decided not to. Instead, he rolled back into his shed and fell asleep. Thomas and Toby rolled their eyes and did the same. The next morning, Mavis had brought down the trucks from the quarry extra early. Besides the quarry truck was the brake fan necessary for James's train. But in front of that was a tar tanker. Thomas, being his cheeky self, saw this as a chance for trickery. "Good morning, James. Say, is that a tar wagon over there? I've heard an engine's had some history of some tar wagons, but I'm not sure. How about you, Toby?" "Oh, yes. I've heard something about red paint and brown paint and all that good stuff. Oh, if you two keep this up, it will be a long, long week." The two looked at each other, smiled, and watched James get attached to the train. As the days went by, the engines of the Farquhar branch lines realized something different about James. His attitude had changed. James had gained a mass amount of respect for Percy. He realized that he was an important asset to the branch line, and without him, the branch line would surely fail. James worked the post train as well, working night and day. James had gained a new respect for Percy. James also found new respect in Thomas and Toby, for they worked hard as well. The three still tease each other, but that's just what good friends do.